Hello and welcome to Blazing Gamer. In this video I'll be showing off one of my latest projects. It's called ArkDown and it's a first-person shooter. So basically the game functions like we have these grounds. On one side there's the green barrier, on the one side there's the red barrier, so you can't go behind and you have to progress through the grounds. So and the green barriers are passable and the red barriers aren't passable, and these grounds are procedurally generated. So just to say that this game is made in Unreal Engine, so what I have done is I have actor classes for each of these props and they are procedurally added to the level. The rocks have random scale also, the other things only have random position and rotation. The rocks have random scale, so you may see the same rock might be bigger or smaller. So I did create this project to learn more about the engine itself, and there are quite a lot of things that I learned. So basically in my last project, the Tank Armada, I had AI which was hard coded into the game. So on tick basis the AI used to get updated with the player's location and move towards it, and if the player is visible, it used to fire at it. But in this game, since the nav mesh and all the AI stuff which enables it to navigate through the level is generated at runtime, I had to come up with a different AI solution, and that was using the behavior trees. And basically AI should be done in behavior trees, but I didn't have the knowledge of behavior trees back when I was creating Tank Armada. So in this game I did implement behavior trees with all the shooting node, patrolling node, and since the levels are procedurally generated, I can't fix some patrol points around the level. So to solve that, I had to use the environment query system, which basically generates a grid of patrol points around the querier, in which case would be the enemy AI. So depending upon the points generated, those points will be scored. So the points which aren't reachable will be filtered out, and the points which are not in sight would be given more preference. Then randomly from those points a point will be selected and AI will move towards it, and if the AI gets the player in sight, it starts to fire it, and if it loses the sight of the player, so if the AI loses the sight of the player, it will go to the last known location of the player. Like if I just hide from this, it will come to the last known location and wait for a while and then continue with its patrolling. So it's just a basic behavior tree, around 3 to 4 branches. Another thing that I did a lot in this project was animation blueprint, because in Tank Armada I didn't have any animation. All I needed to do was rotate the tank turret, and that could be done through code. But in this project I used animation blueprint quite a lot. So you can see these animations are from the free Epic Games animation starter pack, and all I had to do was configure them, when to use which, basically with blend states and the locomotion graph. It was quite fun to implement it because you don't need to code anything. It's basically a type of blueprint, and it's also called the animation blueprint. So you basically fill up your nodes and do give some Boolean conditions according to which the animation played will be decided. There are some pretty more advanced steps in that known as the blend states and adaptive animations, which can be added on the animations, and it was fun learning them. You may also recognize this project from the Udemy Unreal course, the testing grounds, and I was developing along that only. And so it's not totally my implementation, but I did do some changes. Like majorly it was performance changes, because when I was done with the course, whenever I used to enter a new ground, I used to have a major stutter because of the world generation. So I did try adding the world generation to a different thread, and I don't know if it's working, but there is still a stutter, but it is far less than what it used to be. So I guess threading wasn't the optimal solution for this, because the world generation works for only small amount of time, and the thread overhead may be more than that, and that is the cost of that small stutter, but still it's less than the previous one. And the procedural generation, okay, so that's what I need to tell. The procedural generation works in such a way there are at most 4 tiles in the level. So there is I died. So there is at least 1 tile in front of me, and now this will keep shooting at me. So I need to restart the game. I didn't expect to die that fast, but yeah. So the procedural generation works, and so like the first tile there won't be any enemies, and this first wall is a separate actor. Other barriers are in the tile blueprint, but this first wall is separate because all these tiles have only one wall, and that is the forward one. So I had to add this separately, but this will be destroyed as soon as I enter the second tile. So I was saying at a time there will be 4 tiles. So let me enter this and kill all the enemies before they kill me. So there are 4 tiles, 1 behind this and 2 ahead of this. So now this cycle continues. Now as I will enter the next ground, the behind tile would be destroyed, containing all the actors inside him, and the enemies would be destroyed, and a new tile ahead of this would be generated. So the grass is added using instanced hierarchical static mesh. I think that's what it's called. Basically it just puts the grass mesh into memory once and instances over it. Now there are some bugs with spawning. Sometimes they just don't see the collision, but basically how I spawn these props is like I have actor classes for each of the prop, and I query the tile. So there is around the tile is 4000 by 4000 units. So there is a thing that I generate random points in a box. There's a C++ function for that, and in a radius I query whether there is something spawn. Basically I put a collider there, and if it collides, that means I can't spawn something on that spawn point. If there isn't something that's colliding with it, I can spawn a prop. So each of these props have a different radius, and for the rocks the radius is multiplied by the random scale that is generated. So depending upon that, I also have a min and max spawn. So like at most I will have only 3 containers in a given tile, and minimum 1, and so these props are added to the level. And that's basically all I did in this project. And there was some little post-processing in the end, like the hit as the screen goes red and all. And there's not much more, because the main thing I focused in this project was the AI, because my main project is Tank Armada, and I want this kind of AI to be there in Tank Armada, in which the level won't be procedurally generated, but the AI would be roaming around the level and shooting, and it would be much more human feeling AI rather than what I have in there. So also on the topic of procedural generation, I'm a big fan of voxel generated games. So, and you may have seen my other video on how to generate Minecraft like world. So this was basically a help towards attaining something like that also, because the prop adding system can be used for adding trees, and like in Minecraft world, that's how basically the trees are added. They query I think that's how they are added. They query the position. If there's nothing there, they can add a tree and something like that only. So it was a great experience learning this, and if you do want to check out, or I would really recommend the game Unreal course on Udemy by the Game Dev TV, and it is a 50-hour long course, and you will learn through all C++ and create mini games, like 3 to 4 games. One is this testing ground, a game like Tank Armada, and there's one more game before that, and there's a C++ game also. That's a text-based game, and you can really take that knowledge and expand on it yourself. And also be creating tutorials for Unreal Engine myself, and do look forward for them. I also have created some 2D games in Unity, and yeah, creating games in Unity is very easier than creating an Unreal Engine, because C++ can get annoying at sometimes. So if you want Unity tutorials, I can do that also. I have much more knowledge in C# and Java than C++, and it's pretty easy for me to make games in Unity, and that's what I'll be focusing more in the coming time. But I would be working on my Unreal games because they are my major projects, and Unity games are basically, I do it for a weekend or so when I'm in college and I have a lot of free time. So thanks for watching, and both the repositories I have made public for the Tank Armada and this, and you can go to GitHub and download the game. And you may, if you want to contribute, you can just fork the repository, send a pull request, and I would be really happy to add your contributions to the project. And all I'd say is please subscribe for more videos and more tutorials. And again, thanks for watching.